Hey guys, if you're new here, I am Dawn and I am a sketchbook artist who loves dogs, if you can't tell. Also coffee, I really love coffee too. But anyway, this past couple of weeks have been super busy, but in between getting my work done, I got a chance to work in a few of my favorite sketchbooks, including my art journal where I collage and paint like junk journal style. I worked in my messy sketchbook. That's my little 8x6 sketchbook. And that's the one where like anything goes. And then I even got to work binding a few more sketchbooks that I'll introduce here. And I will let you know what the plans are for those. But yeah, let's jump in and take a look at what I've been up to in my sketchbooks. Okay, so let's start with my art journal because this is like my favorite place to go when I am super busy with work because it's like the perfect escape, especially if I need a break from painting. So on a week where I have like lots of commissions or I just have like low energy, it's super nice to just be able to rummage around in like my ephemera collection and pull out a handful of things that I love and just spend a few hours just assembling them in like any kind of configuration that I can imagine. So it's also a really great motivator because whenever I do finish like composing one of these pages, I'm almost immediately like back in the mood to go ahead and start painting them because once you kind of see everything together, you kind of want to see it all the way through. So let's take a look at what I got done. So this was the first composition I did, and I call this my art journal also because I plan on actually journaling in here eventually. So what I've done and what you probably have seen in the past is that you'll see my portraits or the majority of my artwork goes kind of on this right hand side, and on the left hand side I have a little pocket for journaling, and you'll see that on kind of some of the other pages as well. So this was the first one that I did, and I love this one. I love the accent of blue, which is a new thing for me in this journal. Most of the spreads are kind of stay in like the warm tones, so this pop of this like teal blue really kind of spoke to me, and I just wanted to try it out. So this one has like a coffee and tea theme. And then this was the second one I did, and this is more kind of in line with the color palette of the rest of the book, where it's kind of these like neutrally creams and browns mixed in with kind of the red and just a little bit of black accent. And you know, if you know me, you know I love Boston Terriers, and this one doesn't have a tag yet in the pocket, but that's where that would go. This was a fun one because I found this little second prize, dog show second prize, and it kind of just set the theme for the whole piece. So kind of like on this one where it was this tea label that I kind of blew up and made the focus of it, and it kind of like a celestial theme. This one was really all around this second prize in the dog show. This says the ship on which I sailed arrived safely overseas. So I kind of imagined like there was travel involved to get to this show. Maybe there was some letters involved, writing home. Oh, and if I didn't mention this, so this is all collaged, and then this is actually a sketch that I did in this book. Let's see if I can find it really quick. So that's the other thing I like to do in this book. It lets me repurpose sketches that I've done in other places. And then I photocopied it, pasted it in here, and then I painted it. And this is painted with oils. There it is. There it is. And then the painting there. So yeah. So those are the two that I did in here. My messy sketchbook. So this one, I actually did a bunch of sketches in here. So this one was from a previous video, but I want to touch base on this one a little bit because it kind of kicked off the next two paintings. And that's because this is a little experiment that I've been doing. Every once in a while, I like to experiment with colors because I kind of get in a rut where I use the same color palette all the time. And I've got so many different tubes of paint and I've got so many colors that just never get used. So with this one, I wanted to use all my yellows. This was my kind of, I guess it was kind of an analogous, but I was kind of seeing this as like a monotone in yellows. And that was such an experience for me. I really, really enjoyed doing it. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, especially since yellow is not a color. It's not a color that I love and it's not a color that I use a ton. So I thought that this painting would be a lot more difficult, but it kind of set me up for the next few. So then this was the next one that I did. And this one was a lot of fun. This one was a limited 3-color palette. So this was a alizarin crimson, Prussian blue, and titanium white. So just those 3 paints. So that was this entire palette. And I actually really, really enjoyed that experience as well. So I thought that that would be harder, kind of limiting myself to just those 3 colors, but it was super fun. Like, I mean, I think I learned a lot just about being very subtle in my gradations and being very, very subtle about warm and cool shifts. And also letting the background show through. That was also something that I was playing around with in this painting. Like, you can see the collar. I think you can see the collar is not painted. I gave it a little bit of an outline, but it's just letting the background kind of show through there. And then the next one, now this one was probably the most out there for me, but this was like on a day where I was feeling particularly interested in giving myself a challenge. And so I picked an analogous palette of, what was it? It was mauve, alizarin crimson, and cadmium orange. And then I added in a raw umber and a Naples yellow so that I could kind of have the darkest dark and a lighter light, so that I wasn't introducing like a black and a white. They're these very cool colors that would kind of throw off the whole thing. Now I did end up adding a titanium white in there. Actually, I still have the color palette so I can just show you. So these were the colors I mixed with. So titanium white, burnt sienna, Naples yellow, cadmium orange, alizarin, mauve, umber. And then what I actually painted with was these colors that I mixed. So these 9 colors. By the way, this background was already here before I even sketched this dog. This background was really the kind of key to pulling all of this together, because that was kind of the inspiration for the palette in general. And again, I actually love how this turned out. I really have been enjoying kind of the act of creating a painting where I'm not trying to recreate the colors from life, but really just interpret the colors. I am not trying to make this look realistic. I'm just trying to create something that looks like it has the form that it's supposed to have, but the colors are just completely imaginary. And I think this is probably one of the most successful in this book so far at kind of achieving that. And I really, really like it. These are just not colors that I normally use. They're much, much brighter, even though they're a little bit subdued from like what they would be out of the tube. They're still much more bright and kind of lively than what I would normally use, and I'm absolutely loving it. I probably will keep going with this, kind of introducing some more punches of color as I move forward. But yeah, in the past few weeks, in my art journal and in this book, I've really been enjoying kind of seeing that bump up of color kind of come out. It's worth mentioning that I am getting pretty far along in this sketchbook, and that's not normal for me. Normally I have so many sketchbooks going that it would take me like 2 years to finish a sketchbook, and since I am going much faster, I thought it would be worth kind of preparing myself for that next sketchbook. And so I have prepared 2 more all ready to go. So these are actually 2 sketchbooks that I have made. So I am still on a no-buy. I've been on a no-buy for a while now, and it's not that I'm not allowing myself to buy anything, but I am not allowing myself to buy anything unless it's a replacement of something that I have completely used up. I have so much paper. So I took a bunch of mixed media paper, and I decided that that would probably be one of the best mediums for my next set of sketchbooks, because this one is a very light kind of drawing paper, and it's very smooth, and I like that, but it might be nice to have something a little bit different. So this one is a drawing paper, or sorry, this is a mixed media paper. This one's a mixed media paper. And you can sort of see I've stitched this one. The stitches there. I think I could watercolor on this one pretty easily without it bleeding through. So that's going to be nice. But I'm not ready for this one yet. So this one's going to go on a shelf, I think, until I'm ready, until this one's finished. But this one is one that I'm already ready to start. So this is a really unusual one, and this was made also from mixed media paper, but you'll notice that every page kind of has this small little divider in it. So this is actually one that I'm going to use for classwork. So one of the ways that I like to kind of take a break when I have a lot of work to do is to do classes, online classes. So Skillshare, Domestika, things that I've bought maybe on Gumroad, things like that. It also kind of gets you out of a rut if you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. You can pick a class that's very different or leverages skills that you feel like you're not using, and it's just a nice change of pace, right? So what I like to do is I like to reserve this kind of centerpiece for like taking notes, and then that way I can work here, take notes, put work here. And then the other thing is, if you look at this, so this book is thicker in the spine because of all those short pages, which means that I'll be able to paste things in here without making this book something that won't, sit shut. Like I hate when you have a book, like my art journal is almost at that point. Like I hate when you have a book that's just so fat it won't close at all, and it really bugs me. So this actually leaves a lot of space for if I want to stick things in this book, and I have the space to do that without creating so much bulk that this book won't shut. The other thing that I want to mention is that making these books is so gratifying because for a couple of reasons. One, I'm using up supplies that I've had for so long, but also because I've had some of these decorative papers for a really long time. So this is just a wrapping paper that I had. I bought a book of wrapping paper, and this is one of the designs in there that I absolutely adored. And again, this yellow isn't something that I would have normally chosen, but I feel like it's just really happy. I really, really like it. And then there's pops of red. This book just makes me happy to look at it. And then this is actually a roll of 1940s wallpaper that I didn't even, like when we moved recently, I couldn't even find it. And then I came across it one day, and I was so happy that I actually found it, that I still had it. It's got these like farm scenes on it, and it's just so cute. These little dogs chasing this weird looking rabbit. But anyway, it was really, really flimsy paper. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to ever really do with it. But now that it's glued down onto this board, it seems like it's holding up really, really well. I'm just super happy that this paper has been used for something at this point, because it makes me happy to look at it. And I want to always, keep it and treasure it for even longer. Yeah, so that's it. So thanks for watching, and that is everything that I have done in my sketchbooks lately.